everyone. It is me, your host, Victor Herrera, and this is this week's edition of Three Putt Golf Show. Thank you for joining in. Again, we are presented to you by Legacy Maker Sports Network, and we have an interesting episode for you. You see the logo behind me. It is the 150th edition of the Open Championship, the famous claret jug, the most prestige claret jug. I want to start off with a little bit of a piece of fact for you, a little piece of knowledge for you to chew on and for you to enjoy this weekend. They were playing golf at St. Andrews, the home of golf, where golf gets its reputation of being invented. They were playing golf at this golf course of which Tiger Woods, Rory McIlroy, Jordan Spieth, Tony Finau, all of the greats today, such as Jack Nicklaus, Lee Trevino, all of them have played 200 years before electricity was ever invented. Think about that. 200 years before electricity was invented, they were playing this game of golf that we all love and we all hate at the same time, especially if you play, you know what I'm talking about. But they have played this tournament, and it's now back at the home of golf. Tiger Woods will be playing. We're going to talk a lot about him. I have a very interesting take on him. But this claret jug is one that, you know, it's been said throughout this week. You can go look up comments. If you win the Open Championship at St. Andrews, the home of golf, then you're set. Like, it doesn't get any better than that. And that's what we're going to have this week. Somebody's going to get receive that feeling and know they won this prestigious jug at the home of where golf was invented. But St. Andrews is a beautiful course. It's very laid out. It's a link style course. That's how all the courses across the pond are styled, link style, which for those of y'all that don't know, link style is going to be spread out. No trees on the golf course, very long. It's just got fairways and weeds, really. It's quite interesting. My favorite hole on the whole golf course, I must be honest and just tell you, it's hole 18. And the reason why it's hole 18 is because you are driving over the clubhouse. It's a blind tee shot, and it's the most absolute beautiful thing, in my opinion, where you see this clubhouse built in the 1500s that's been maintained and well taken care of by those people there that show such great pride in what they have there in St. Andrews, and they get it done. It looks amazing, and hitting that tee shot and seeing those tee shots go, wow, it is absolutely mind-blowing. It's so amazing. But we're going to go ahead and get things started. I'm going to give you a little bit. Last week, Kurt Kitayama had a great chance to win the Genesis Scott Open. He kind of fell down at the last couple of holes throughout that final day. But the thing is he hadn't qualified for the Open yet. So him getting in that top 10 qualified him for the Open. So congrats to Kitayama. It's his first one. It's very, very exciting, as we're going to get to see some new faces in this tournament, which we're going to talk about. But last week was the Genesis Scottish Open. It was the first tournament I've seen these Americans kind of get with this link style golf playing there in the Genesis Scottish Open. You know, big names such as Will Zalatoris, who I'm not going to lie, I felt really strongly about going into this week. But last week, seeing how he played kind of wavered me off of him some. He struggled immensely trying to make contact with the ball solid. He, aside from his chip that landed right on Matt Fitzpatrick's ball marker, there really wasn't much to be shown on TV about Will Zalatoris. And it just was that type of tournament. Now, everybody has them, but when you're going over there to across the pond, you're going to Scotland, and you're going over there to play these link style courses and you don't do how you expect, it's definitely going to rattle your brain some. And he's young, and truthfully I do think it's going to mess with his in his confidence. I hope it doesn't, but I do think it will. And we're not going to see that Will Zalatoris that we've seen in most of the majors up until this point. He's been there right there with the PGA Championship, losing in playoff. He was right there at the U.S. Open against Matt Fitzpatrick and almost had a chance to send it to a playoff. He led for a little bit. Will Zalatoris is a player, especially in majors. So I will eat my words if I'm completely wrong on this. But seeing him last week worried me some, where I couldn't pick him this week as my favorite. I wanted to, but I just couldn't. But one guy who played well last week is Jordan Spieth. Jordan Spieth, his new swing ever since the RBC Canadian Open, he's been able to get things done. He won that tournament. A lot of people were questioning his new swing as to why he would change it and when was it going to be ready, because he had missed the cut at the Masters where he had won and where he had the infamous meltdown, but he missed the cut. For somebody as Jordan Spieth's caliber, you don't expect somebody like that to miss the cut, but he did, and it was surprising to all. Well, the next week he bounced back and got a win, his first win as a dad. And back a couple years ago, he had that great stretch of golf where he won majors. He got it done, won the Masters, and he was able to build this resume and start talking about, oh, wow, this is the guy who would go for the Grand Slam. Well, you know what? Jordan Spieth is a baller. He gets it done. He's somebody who, with this new swing, has found confidence. Last week, he was right there towards the end. He was right there making the shots he needed to. He likes a link-style golf. He really does. He can smash it with his driver now. That has become a weapon for him. And in interviews, he's even stated it's a weapon now. I wish I knew what that felt like, but it is a weapon now for him. And he had a strong showing last week, built a very good case as to why he should be one of the favorites for the Open Championship this week. The winner of last week, Xander Schauffele. Schauffele back-to-back wins and starts. This dude had 3 years in between his last individual win. Keep in mind, he won the Zurich Classic Championship this year with his best friend, Patrick Cantlay, as they went on to win that tournament. So he's won 3 times on the tour this year. He's had a crazy good year, and it was very slow but very under the radar good year. So you have to think he's intoxicating his first major. Back-to-back wins in your starts is huge. You win the Zurich Classic with your best friend. You go on to win your first tournament in 3 years, and then you win the Scottish Open in your next start. Like, you can't write a better script. He's on top of the world, but it goes back to one of them superstitious questions as an athlete. Do you really want to win the week before a major event like this? Or are you don't get me wrong, I'm all for, if you're going out there and playing, you need to go out there and play with the intent to win. You don't need to go out there with the intent to, oh, I'm using this as practice. No, you need to go out there with the intent to win. Harold Varner III said it. But you have to think in the back of his mind is, man, maybe I should have saved some. Because, you ever watch the college baseball, softball series or a professional baseball series, and you're like, oh, well, they scored 13 runs and won 13-1. They only needed 2. Do you think they maybe wasted some runs there? And I know it's superstitious. Don't get me wrong. I know it's all a mental thing. But there's a little bit of that in the back of your mind when you're going through trying to select players to look at and to possibly pick up for a winner the following week. He got his 3rd win of the season, 2nd back-to-back start individually. So, he already had qualified for the Open, and he's playing really good golf. So it's exciting to see him back in true form and have a shot at getting his first major. Now, this 150th edition of the Open Championship, how I stated, is played in St. Andrews, the home of golf. It's very amazing. It's been such a spectacular week. You see Jack Nicklaus there, Lee Trevino. You see everybody there that has been through this amazing come up. And, one of my favorites, John Daly. He's been there. You see all of them with Tiger Woods. Now, I'm not going to lie to you. If Tiger Woods is going to retire, this is going to be the week to do it. There's nothing better than ending your career at the most famous, most prized, most well-respected golf course in the world, St. Andrews. This would be the perfect right off into the sunset moment. The only thing that would spoil it is I don't believe he has what it takes to make the cut. I'm a little worried about his leg. If you look at him, you can see it. You can see the difference in his legs. I'm a little worried because of this. Thursday, the weather's supposed to be fine, a little bit of wind. Friday, chances of rain with some wind. If that rain hits, it's going to be very, very difficult for him to be able to continue and walk. And Saturday is supposed to be no rain, but Sunday there's the chances for rain. So it's kind of a hit or miss type of thing, and this weather elements will play a major factor in that. I just feel Tiger Woods is going to have a lot of walking. There will be wind. There's no question about it. There will be wind. How bad will these elements of the wind and possible rain affect him? If it affects him the way I believe it's going to affect him, he won't make the cut. Now, there has been times where he's played really well, but I don't know. I feel after watching some of the videos I see a more relaxed Tiger Woods. I don't see somebody who's as tense. So it does give me that impression that maybe this is the ride off to the sunset moment. Thanks to Mr. Statman from the Legacy Maker Sports Network, we are going to have an actual Tiger Woods watch. Every day, check in, see how he's doing, see if he's making the cut, see what the projected cut line is for Thursday, Friday, and let's see if we can't get him to the weekend. I'm excited to see him play this tournament. I am super excited. I believe him going out there and getting this done could give him that fairy tale moment. I just think it's really doubtful he'll win, and it's somewhat doubtful he's going to make it to the weekend. And if he doesn't make the cut, will he retire? Does he want to go out like that? It leaves that in the back of your mind. A couple of other things. One more thing before we get to my winner and my watch list is Sahith Theegala. You know, he's a favorite on the show because of what he did for my daughter, taking a picture with her. And I just like his style of play. He's gritty. He gets it done. He grinds. He's top of the line young kid who's going to be really, really well in this PGA Tour and throughout his professional career. He's going to do great for himself. He is playing in his second ever major. His first major came in 2016, where he qualified as an amateur at the U.S. Open. He hasn't since been able to qualify for a major. Well, he worked his way up, and Daniel Berger withdrew. Theegala gets his call, and he will be playing this week in the 150th edition of the Open Championship. You know, this is very critical for a kid like this. I believe it's critical because of this. We're going to be able to see what he's really about. You know, he's had signs of greatness where he's finished tied for second in second. He's challenged the leaders. He's challenged the veterans like Xander Schauffele. But this is where it comes down to. He's also made some bonehead mistakes, some rookie mistakes, not listening to his caddy, not believing in the shot he's going to hit. So having that opportunity to really get some experience playing in a tournament as to this magnitude and this type of environment is going to be very, very good for him. Win or lose, make the cut or not make the cut. It's going to be very good for him down the stretch. I only say that because he's played really well and has done incredibly competitive in some of these tournaments, but then you go to like the Arnold Palmer Invitational. He wasn't even right there in the leaderboard after he teed off on his first shot. So I hope the kid does good. I hope he gets it done. I really am pushing for him. He is not on my watch list because, you know, you can only pick one champion and one person to keep an eye on, but please keep an eye on Sahith Theegala. It's going to be interesting to see how he gets it done. He got some beautiful putting stroke. So as long as he can reach the green as long as he can hit greens and regulations, his putting stroke will be perfect. But the driver does worry me some as it can get away. And when it gets away, he has a hard time finding it back. Now, my number one to watch is none other than the other favorite of the Three Putt Golf Show, and that is Tony Finau. I picked Tony Finau because his greens and regulations and his par four scores are through the roof. And playing a link style golf course helps him incredible. Now, you remember earlier in the season, he played at the Mexico Open, and he was favored to win. I picked him to win, and he almost came back to win. He would have won if he wouldn't have had a disastrous start. That's always been the thing with Tony Finau, not starting how he needs to. It was an open style golf course. That's what links is. You just can't get stuck in those bunkers that are 5 feet tall and absolutely heck to get out of. But Tony Finau, this is his type of golf. It's open. He's developed this confidence in his game. The last time we saw him, he finished in the top 20. He's starting to get his play. But it's all how he starts. And I hate to say that, but it is. So if round one, he goes out there and he finishes 2 over, he can make the cut, but it's going to be very tough for him to do anything with it. He's had second and third rounds where he goes really low, but it's just that first round. So if Tony Finau can at least get 2-3 under on that first round, believe me, he's going to be well in contention. He will play really well. He has been able to gain some confidence in putting the ball. He's not at all the best putter on the tour. Short putts, 3 to 5 feet, really mess with his head. And it kind of makes you realize, like, everybody has those issues in the game of golf. But 3 to 5 feet kill Tony Finau, but he can make a 50-footer. That just blows my mind. And, you know, if you play golf, that's just how it is sometimes. But his wedges are spectacular. His irons are spectacular. It's going to be driving the ball and getting low early in this tournament and early in the first round. He can't lose any ground that first round. But my winner for this 150th edition of the Open Championship is not Xander Schauffele. I'm too, I would say, suspicious the fact that he superstitious at the fact that he won last week. I am very superstitious when it comes to sports. I mean, I played sports all my life, and I'm like, you won last week. I think you wasted it. He's going to play good, but I don't think he's got enough to win his first major. And, you know, Will Zalatoris, he worried me last week. Seeing the way he played absolutely worried me. And yes, don't get me wrong, they battled more weather than what we're expected here. But I just don't feel comfortable picking Will Zalatoris. So my champion for this week that I've picked is somebody who's been there and done that. Somebody who's proven to continue to play well in these types of elements. And that is none other than the fellow Texan, Jordan Spieth. Jordan Spieth has been there and done that with this tournament. He's done that with these types of golf courses. He can get it done this weekend. He will. He's a beautiful right-handed golfer who's got that new swing to his driver. Having that driver now as a weapon is going to be huge. And he's got all the confidence in the world. So be on the lookout. The tournament starts at 12 tonight at midnight because they're playing across the pond, across the country, across the world. So keep an eye on that. We're going to have a Tiger Watch on the Three Putt Golf Show Legacy Maker page. We're going to have Jordan Spieth watch, Tony Finau watch. And again, keep an eye on Thigala. It's his first major since 2016. Interesting to see how he does. But thank y'all for watching. Check out Legacy Maker Sports Network for any of your needs and sports information. Until then, we'll see y'all next week as we will see who wins the 150th edition of the Open Championship.